All right, let's do this.
You've got a screaming caller, sketchy location info, background noise that sounds like a blender, and a gunfight. And only 3 seconds to decide who to send, what to believe, and how to keep your own brain from short-circuiting. Welcome to the Dissonance of Dispatch. That's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a certified NENA ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week, I bring you the latest news and information about public safety and next-generation 911 services and solutions. Today, we'll be talking about 911 dispatch dissonance, the emotional and physical chaos that's behind the calm voices of our call takers and dispatchers, and how they make lightning-fast decisions with limited information and zero margin for error. Okay, so let's get started with the reality. Being a dispatcher is like playing chess blindfolded during a house fire while someone is screaming at you in real time. You don't have the full picture, but you still have to move and do it fast. Now imagine you're juggling multiple calls. One sounds like a domestic dispute, the other a car crash. One caller is calm and the other frantic. Your gut tells you the car crash is worse, but protocol says you prioritize the possible violence. That internal tug-of-war, that's cognitive dissonance, and it's part of the job every single day. Dispatchers routinely have to deal with conflicting thoughts like, what if I'm wrong? Did I just send someone into danger? And should I have waited for more info? And these aren't just fleeting thoughts, they linger, especially after major incidents. And unlike field responders, dispatchers don't get closure. There's no scene, no resolution, just static and the next call. And let's talk about emotional suppression. Every dispatcher is trained to remain calm. But let's be real, some calls hit different. A child choking, a friend from town calling in a wreck, a suicide in progress from a familiar voice. You're supposed to stay neutral, but you're also, well, that friction builds up and builds up fast. Now, toss in technology. AI might help route the call, transcription may fill in the gaps, but the core decision-making still falls on the dispatcher. And while Next Generation 911 will bring more tools, it also brings more data along with it, and more complexity and more mental noise. We train our dispatchers to be efficient and accurate, but how much training do we give them in psychological resilience? When was the last time a comm center got a budget line for mental health that wasn't just, hey, here's the hotline number? Let's get real. Public safety can't afford to lose more professionals to burnout, trauma, and compassion fatigue. Hell, we already have a staffing crisis. We don't need a soul shortage, too. Here's the kicker. Research into decision-making under duress shows that even elite professions like pilots, ER surgeons, special ops, and others all face cognitive overload. So tell me, why are we shocked when a 911 dispatcher, mid-shift, mid-trauma, juggling life or death calls, occasionally freezes or makes a call that they later question? It's not weakness, it's human. This is precisely why we need scenario-based training that reflects real-world moral conflict. Post-call debriefs that include emotional check-ins, AI support that's developed to flag ethical or high-stress decisions and do that in real time. And most of all, the cultural permission to say, hey, that call messed me up, without being labeled as fragile. Because the reality is, we ask our call takers to be therapists, detectives, air traffic controllers, and battlefield commanders. And they do it, all while sitting in a chair with a headset on their head. Dispatch dissonance is real, but so is the strength of our people. Let's match that strength with systems that support it. That wraps up this episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. I hope the podcast was educational for you and you learned something new. If you like what you heard today, please be sure to drop a like and make sure you tell your friends. And don't forget to leave a comment and let us know. If you've got any questions or just want to suggest a topic of your own, you can always reach out to me at Fletch911 on social media. Who knows? Maybe your idea will be featured in a future podcast. Once again, this is Fletch. Thanks so much for listening. And if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. Stay safe, take care, and we'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't, regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.